Sometimes we've got it wrong, but it's alright. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow.
Hi there, welcome back to The Search. I am Dee Narell, if you haven't seen my other two videos, and this is going to be a video giving you a little bit more background information about how I got from thinking I knew what I wanted to do with my future to now where I'm basically starting over trying to figure out my passions in life and what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. Um, Last couple of videos, the first was an introduction just explaining what this channel is going to be about. The second, I talked about elementary to middle school. So, just to keep it in order, talking about high school to college today. So, year of high school, I played volleyball and I did competitive cheer. Chose cheer because the high school didn't have a dance team. It made me very sad, but that's what I did. Freshman year was the only year that I was on the volleyball team. I did try out my sophomore year and didn't make the team, and that kind of crushed my dreams. So I just stopped. And from sophomore year to senior year, I was on the cheerleading team. Um, I did cheer for both football and competitive in the winter during basketball season, except for my senior year. I did make the team, and I wouldn't admit it then why I didn't make the team. But I'm pretty sure I didn't make the team because of my grades. Again, trying to live up to the expectation of family and other people around me. Trying to do the most basically. I was taking two AP classes, an AP English class and an AP math class, which AP math at that time was like a beginning course for calculus, which, yeah, no, this is not for me. I don't get it. I don't know what I'm doing. So that grade killed my GPA a little bit. I still was an honor roll. I mean, my GPA never went below a 3 point something, but that was not the best class to choose. I don't think I would suggest, personally for myself, younger Deja, wouldn't suggest you doing two AP classes your senior year. It wasn't the best. Um, Senior year, I did a fashion show. Like our school did fashion shows every year. I never participated until my senior year, but that was thanks to my best friend who encouraged me to do it. And of course, she was in it with me. I think there was maybe, it was either sophomore or junior year where there was a dance team, but the dance team only lasted for like one performance the whole year, which of course made me sad, but it was fun, like just having the option to go to practice and do something. Um, in high school, my idea of what I wanted to do in my life, it never really changed, and I didn't really venture out to do anything to change that. It was just, I'm going to be a veterinarian. This is what I'm going to do. We did have something called Skill Center where it had some veterinary things, but at the time, my parents encouraged me to go to Skill Center, but of course I was one of those children that was like, parents are teachers, talking to my counselor and stuff. Should I do this to help me? And the counselor at that time told me that it wouldn't help me, which I should have listened to my parents, because when I started going to colleges and we started telling the story about me not going to Skill Center, they was like, yeah, no, you should have did that. So a lesson to anybody out there who is still in high school and has the option to take advantage of something like that. If your school offers something where you can start going off campus to start dabbling in whatever you may be interested in, it is a good idea. You should do it because that will help you figure out if it is actually something that you want to do before you get to where I am and may possibly have to pay for school and then paying for classes that you really don't even want to do anymore with your life. So definitely suggest that. Um, After high school, in regards to experiences, it's kind of the same thing once I got to college. I left for college in 2011. I went to Southwestern Michigan College, which is kind of like a community college, but it's located in Dowagiac, Michigan. I was going there to try and get my associates in science, but it didn't work out. After being there for 2 years, I decided that that just wasn't the school for me. But while I was there, I did get to experience my sophomore year, second year of being in college, being on a dance team. There was um, a classmate from Detroit who had came in to the school my second year of being there, and she had created a dance team, which of course, as I've mentioned before, I do enjoy dancing, even though I'm not trained or anything like that. I do enjoy learning and dancing and stuff, and of course I enjoy performing and everything. So she did that. First semester she did have to leave, and me and one of the other members on the team took over being the captains, which of course was fun, and it was kind of my first leadership role. Time I still was going to school to be a vet, so I have to take these science classes. There were classes where it got to, okay, I need this for this degree, but I was having issues with it, so that started to having to retake classes, and maybe I should start thinking about something else. But I was still at that, what else am I going to do? So I'm just going to stick with that. So I came back home after those 2 years of being there, and then I enrolled in Mott Community College, which is a community college local to me. Um, it helped paying for all of these things. My parents weren't the richest, so first 2 years when I was away, I did have to pick up a work study job to like pay for things like gas and food. Um, the school that I went to at the time, they didn't have a food plan. We had a dorm, 4 separate rooms, and 2 bathrooms, and like a kitchen area for everybody that lived in that dorm. So you did have to provide for yourself and your own food. Um, my parents were not able to send me money to do that, so I had to get a work study job so that I could be able to do that. And then there's also something that we have a EBT program. We call it food stamps. Some people call it EBT. I guess it depends on your area. But at the age of 19, I was already on food stamps because of school. When I moved back home, I was still on food stamps, and then the state that I live in, they also had a tuition incentive program at that time, so that helped pay towards me getting my associate's degree. Even though it took me about 4 years to do so, that was a help. And then doing Pell Grant and taking out loans, I was going to figure out this school thing. So I came back home, enrolled into my community college. That is where I completed my associate's degree in science. At this time, still don't know what else I'm going to do, so I'm just going to stick with veterinary medicine. What was the year? 2014, 2015 is where I completed this. So that was a nice accomplishment. I one day, possibly, if it is what I decide to do, I'd have a bachelor's to add to my list of degrees other than my high school diploma. But after graduating Mott, then I went to Baker College, which they have a vet tech program. And my thoughts with that was like, okay, I'm going to go to school. I can get licensed as a vet tech, start really, really working towards being a full licensed veterinarian doctor, and I could be making money while helping myself pay to school, and I'll have a little bit more information, or might be ahead of some people in my class. That was my thought process when going to that school. It only lasted at that school for 1 year. Not necessarily that Baker was a bad school, but just the way that their curriculum was set up, it didn't work best for me, especially having to be a person that has to work as well as go to school, because somebody's got to pay for this, and trying to minimize on the amount of loans and debts that I'm gonna have in the future. So there was that. And then after a year at Baker, I transferred to the current school that I'm at, which is the University of Michigan. I guess it's called like a satellite campus or something like that. So that's where I am, and that's where I worked for a couple of years, where it still was like veterinary medicine. Now, anybody that does their research after watching watching this video would know that they do not have a veterinary science program. So I was basically just finding the classes that match with what I would need to get into a veterinary program and what major would go into it. So I was basically just a science major. While I was going to U of M Flint, that is when I started thinking about something else I wanted to do. I started having some health issues, nothing super, super serious, but I'm not sure if it was the stress or the food I had been eating that caused it to flare up to a point that was like, yeah, you need to go get this checked out. But I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is autoimmune disease. At that time, also my blood work was showing that I was pre-diabetic, which is something that is runs in my family. A lot of people, as they get older, get diagnosed with diabetes. So that was when I made the decision. Maybe there's something that I can go to school for that I can figure out what is going on. Um, so that is when I started looking into becoming a dietitian. I knew that dietitians, just with the name, has something to do with what goes into your body to make you feel better. So that is what I decided to change my major to. Again, a little bit of a dilemma. U of M Flint does not have a dietetics program. So, of course, speaking to a counselor and trying to figure out, okay, we're going to switch your major to health science and just general health science. And let's make sure that we're taking as many classes that'll go to you to being able to get into a dietitian program. That is where I am and where I've been working on. But even though being a dietitian probably would have made me happy because I would have been able to help not only myself, but other people and even my family prevent onset diabetes or other things that they may be dealing with that are preventable. Um, I just don't see myself happy. Like, it's stressing me out. It's hard to push myself to do homework and take certain classes, and then with certain classes, because I don't get the information, even if I try to get help, I have to retake the class, and it's like, is this something that you really want to do? And then learning that going into a field that is heavily science based and science is not your strongest suit may not be the best for you. Now, I'm not saying that if it is something that you truly love and truly want to do and find out that that is something you want to go for, that you shouldn't work hard and you shouldn't push and do whatever you got to do to finish it. But that's just not where I am or where I was when I started to get to this point. So, from elementary to middle school to high school, where life was pretty easy, no issues, to get into college, it's like, okay, these are the stressors that I have to. School is not free, which is kind of sometimes a slap in the face when you think about it, but it stresses you out trying to figure out, okay, this grant or this scholarship or whatever is not going to pay for the rest of it. Even if I take out loans, there's still going to be some money that I have to come up with. So how am I going to do that? So work life plus school life got me to the point that, okay, am I really working towards something that I truly, truly want to do? And it's worth going through all of this stress and stuff for. That is what has pushed me to not knowing what I really want to do. And then with the recent pandemic that has happened with the coronavirus and not having to go to campus and stuff like this, and now it's summer and spring semester, so have the time to take a look. It's like, do I really want to go back in the fall doing the same thing that I wanted to do? My answer is no. And now it's the time to try and figure this out and take out the steps. I've had meetings with advisors who gave me some tools, which I will share those tools with you guys in the future. But I'm going to start figuring out what it is that I want to do and I need to do. I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of background information to know where I came from and that I'm not just this, oh, woe is me and this, that, and that type of person. Like, there's been steps to getting to the point that I am at, and I've had a good life and I can't complain. I have a job where I am able to pay for what I need to, but I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that you have a dream of having a certain type of lifestyle, and the type of lifestyle I have is just being content fully with my life. I mean, there's always going to be ups and downs. Even if you're the happiest person, you're not always happy 100% of the time. But the percentage of time that I look at my life and I'm like, I can do this for the rest of my life, it is not enough for me to not figure out if there's something else for me. So this was a little bit of a longer video. I might have to do a lot of chopping for this and maybe just start a random another video. But again, I am Dina Rell. If you are going to decide to continue to follow me on this journey, or you're in the same spot as me, I do welcome you to use whatever tools that I find and share. And let's continue to figure out this life thing together. Bye.